I'm Luca Azuma. I'm a Ph.D. student at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, and I'm here at the PHS for research that was funded very graciously by the Presbyterian Historical Society on their research fellowship for 2024. My dissertation is looking at LGBTQ plus theology and its developments and origins in the United States, about from the middle of the 20th century to the present. Why I'm here specifically is to do research pertaining to that, in particular because, the PCUSA or the UPCUSA at that time in the 70s had a branch or a caucus. That was one of the earlier groups that were advocating for LGBTQ plus inclusion within churches, because it contains material from that early time period that a lot of places just don't have. It was a very attractive option to be able to research at this archive. Oh gosh, quite a few. I've been here for almost 2 weeks. I've looked at everything from more like formal denominational task forces and committees, like the Task Force to Study Homosexuality, which ran from 1976 to 78 or 79, but also a lot of the personal papers of these individuals who are involved in LGBTQ plus organizations within the church, mostly from the 70s, the late 70s, but also trying to cover the time span into the present. I'm hoping to be able to find sort of the intellectual origins of how Christianity and gay liberation sort of melded together and then created a more formal LGBTQ plus theology moving into the 20th century. So for example, I found a really interesting seminary paper that was written by one of the founding members of Presbyterians for Gay and Lesbian Concerns, written while this individual was at the Yale Divinity School. And it's a paper that talks about liberation theology and sort of those influences both from South America and from within the United States. And this paper talks about how he was taking these theological ideas that can sometimes be, we'll say, very abstract, but finding practical applications for them with his own life experiences and then also in his organizational activities. I mean, it first of all made it a possibility in the first place. One of the most important things that maybe people don't realize about archival work is how much you gain just from going through page after page after page and finding things that you didn't know were going to be there. I mean, I think the staff here has done a great job of cataloging everything and giving a general idea, and then from there you can really work on finding connections and making connections that maybe you never would have seen in the first place. The sort of networks that aren't apparent just from looking at things from the outside. For example, the Lazarus Project invited several high-profile academics like John Boswell and Bernadette Bruton to give talks at their meetings, and I think that also demonstrates the intellectual depth of these endeavors from the beginning. I'm really grateful for the work that everyone here has been doing. I think the staff have been really helpful in sort of getting various authorizations, without me even prompting, and trying to really make it as much of a productive and fruitful experience as possible. So I'd like to say thank you to them.